The oak room glimmered with crystal chandeliers casting golden light across the polished walnut floor. The light was sharp and cold, cutting through the heavy scent of 200 white orchids that lined the long mahogany table. Their perfume was so thick it clung to the back of John's throat, making every breath feel labored. Navy and gold family crest banners hung from the high beams, the embroidered lions and eagles glaring down at the 20 relatives seated around the table. Every chair was taken. Every phone was out. Every face glowed with the smug pride that came from generations of money and expectations. John Smith stood at the head of the table, his wine glass shaking in his hand as if it carried the weight of the world. He was 26, thin from too many nights without dinner, his dark hair a little too long, his eyes dark and unreadable. The dinner was for Lisa, his younger sister, the golden child, celebrating her full-ride acceptance to Stanford Law with a perfect 4.0. John's own graduation 3 months earlier from State University, cum laude in industrial design, had passed without a word. No dinner. No toast. Just a single text from his mother. Congrats. Busy tonight. His parents, Mary and David, sat to his right like a king and queen. Mary's pearls were the size of quail eggs, each one a quiet reminder of the month-long European tour they had taken instead of coming to John's senior showcase. David's gold cufflinks caught the light every time he moved, engraved with the logo of the family firm, the same firm that had laid off 47 people last quarter, including the father of John's childhood best friend. At the far end of the table stood a ridiculous high-backed chair, carved mahogany with a velvet cushion, a small silver crown placed beside Lisa's plate like a trophy. Lisa sat in it, glowing in a white dress that cost more than John's entire tuition for a year, her blonde hair styled in perfect waves. John's throat tightened. He had played this moment in his head 1,000 times. The hug. The proud smiles. The words "we are so proud of you" that would finally erase 4 years of silence. He stepped forward, arms half open, heart open and foolish. Mary's hand rose like a barrier. Her nails were blood red. "Sit on the floor, John. You belong there." The room froze. A collective gasp swept through the table. Aunt Claire's spoon clattered into her lobster bisque. Uncle Richard's wine glass stopped halfway to his mouth. Cousin Julia's phone stayed up, still recording. John's voice came out small. "Mom, what?" Mary took a slow sip of Chardonnay, her eyes like ice. "You barely graduated. Be grateful we let you come at all. We had to reschedule Lisa's photo shoot for this." Lisa smirked from her throne, fingers brushing the crown David had placed beside her. "Don't be dramatic, Jay. It's just a chair." David lifted his glass to Lisa, his voice loud with pride. "That's my girl. Top of her class. Unlike someone who needed 3 extra semesters." Phones flashed. Not for John. For the moment. For the clip that would be shared in family chats before the main course arrived. John's legs gave way. He sank to the cold walnut floor, the wood hard against his knees through his slacks. His plate wobbled on his lap. Laughter poured down from above, sharp and hot. Every clink of crystal, every sip of wine, every whispered "poor John" drilled into him. He stayed there through the appetizers, the salad, the lamb, the dessert. Through Lisa's speech about hard work and family support. Through the cake that read future Supreme Court Justice in gold icing. Through every toast, every cheer, every round of applause. He counted everything. 183 seconds of silence from his mother. 47 glances from cousins who looked away. 112 clinks for Lisa. 0 for him. He memorized every face, every smirk, every fake sympathetic smile. He memorized the way Lisa's fingers kept touching the crown, the way Mary's pearls flashed when she laughed, the way David's cufflinks sparkled when he gestured. When the final toast ended, John stood. His legs were numb. He set his plate on the table with care, the porcelain making a soft clink. Then he walked out the side door. No one called after him. No one followed. He walked through the hotel lobby, past the valet, past the city lights that blurred into streaks of gold and red. He walked until his shoes hurt. He walked until the laughter in his head turned into a steady drumbeat. He walked until he reached the subway, until he was back in his tiny studio apartment in Long Island City. The apartment was small and bare. Peeling linoleum curled at the edges. A futon with a dent shaped like his body. A drafting tablet on cinder blocks. A mason jar on the windowsill labeled "Ether Do Not Touch." The jar held tips from Pixel Brew, the cafe where he worked double shifts, 6 in the morning until 2, then 4 until midnight on weekends. He sketched on napkins. Shirts that changed patterns with light. Jackets with AR displays. Sneakers that adjusted to your walk. AI-driven. Sustainable. Zero waste. He sketched until his fingers cramped. He sketched until the walls were covered. He sketched until the jar was full. He kept a notebook by his futon. The first page read reasons I will never forgive. Entry 1, the floor. Entry 2, the crown. Entry 3, the silence. He added a new entry every night. His phone buzzed. Mom. Lisa's interning on Capitol Hill. What are you doing, John? Still pouring coffee. He typed "you'll see," then blocked the number. He thought about the humiliation every day. The quiet dinners where no one asked about his classes. The report cards thrown away. The art shows skipped. The feeling of being invisible in his own home. He worked late into the night. Rain streaked the window. Sketches piled up. Coffee spilled on blueprints. Red Bull cans stacked like towers. His dream of ether grew with every hour he stayed awake. He whispered to the empty room, "They'll see. They'll all see." One stormy night, as he locked up the cafe, a man in a soaked peacoat ran in. His laptop flickered, water dripping from the keyboard. "Please. I have a pitch in New York tomorrow. This has all my work." John took the laptop. He stayed until 3 in the morning, drying the circuits, reinstalling drivers, recovering every file. He refused money. The man stared. "John, you just saved my company." "What's your name?" "John Smith." "Marcus Hale, CEO of EtherTech. Wearable AI fashion. Want in?" John started the next Monday. Unpaid. 100-hour weeks. He learned GANs, conductive yarn, 3D weaving, biodegradable circuits. He slept under his desk. He lived on Red Bull and determination. He kept the notebook. New section. Reasons I will succeed. Entry 1. The floor taught me balance. Entry 2. The crown taught me weight. Entry 3. The silence taught me volume. 2 years in, he was junior designer. 3 years in, senior designer. 4 years in, he launched Ether, smart fabrics, custom fits, carbon-negative production. AI-driven. Adaptive clothing. Sustainable. Zero waste. He built factories. He hired the workers laid off from David's firm. He gave them shares. He gave them respect. The media loved it. Forbes 30 Under 30. GQ Man of the Year. Met Gala appearances. TikTok campaigns. Etherjacket got 200 million views in a week. He bought the Oak Room. He kept the throne. He never sat in it. Lisa got engaged to a crypto heir. Influencer life. Brand deals. Luxury trips. Then the scandal. Wedding cancelled. Home foreclosed. David's firm went bankrupt. Mary sold heirlooms online to pay bills. Lisa left one voicemail. "John, we need help." The house. He deleted it. 3 years later, a golden envelope arrived at the old house, now a rental with cracked paint and a for sale sign in the yard. Ether Gala 5th Anniversary. Founder John Smith. VIP table Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Ms. Lisa Smith. Lisa's hands shook. "Our John." Mary grabbed it. "That can't be." David stared at the Phoenix logo. The same one from the napkin. From the floor. They went. They had no choice. Gala night. Rooftop in Manhattan. Glass floor over the Hudson. City lights like stars. Suits that changed with the skyline. John stepped out. Midnight blue jacket, fabric weaving constellations. Every step, a new star. The crowd parted. Cameras flashed. Banner Ether founded by John Smith. He took the stage. The microphone shone. 5 years ago, I was told to sit on the floor while my sister wore a crown. Tonight I stand taller than any throne. The crowd roared. From the back, Mary, David, Lisa stood silent. Mary's dress was cheap. David's shoes were worn. Lisa had no crown. Mom whispered, "We are proud." John turned. Cold. Are you? He walked away. Minutes later tonight, Ether launches a $100 million scholarship fund for every kid told to sit on the floor. First recipient, the boy in this photo. Me. Applause thundered. But he wasn't finished. He pressed a button. The screen lit up. A photo. The dinner. John on the floor. Plate on lap. Lisa on the throne. Crown shining. Family laughing. Silence. Then a live feed. The old house boarded up. Bank-owned sign. Lisa's wedding dress on eBay for $47. Gasps. John's voice was soft but sharp. This is what happens when you crown the wrong child. He looked at his family. You wanted a spectacle. Here it is. Mary cried. David looked down. Lisa hid her face. John smiled. Not kind. Not warm. A hunter's smile. Enjoy the show. He pressed another button. Lights dimmed. Spotlight on them. The floor always supports the throne. Tonight you're the floor. Security led them to the glass floor, now a mirror. They saw themselves below the crowd. Kneel. They paused. I said kneel. Slowly they went to their knees. The crowd watched without a sound. John turned away. He walked to the throne. The same one. He sat. For the first time. He looked down at them. He said nothing. He didn't need to. Later in his office on the 42nd floor, Manhattan glittering below, John set a framed photo on his desk. The dinner. The floor. That night. He opened a drawer. The small silver crown. Bought at auction for $1. He closed his fist. Metal bent. Diamonds fell. He dropped the pieces into a glass box. The fall of thrones. Outside the city hummed. Inside John smiled. Never forget where they made you sit. That is where you learn to crush. Fade to black. Revenge doesn't shout. It crushes.